Hey guys. Obviously, we're living in a very different reality from the last time I made my video, which was, I'm looking at my calendar. That was 3 weeks ago, and yeah, things are pretty different right now, right? I've posted about it pretty on a few of my pages or different social medias that I was going to be talking about the coronavirus. Obviously, what the fuck else do we have to talk about? It's not like I've done anything in the past 2 weeks. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today, and its relationship with the government, with us, the impacts that it has on us, and how a lot of choices being made in the government are having huge impacts on our lives, and some of them we're completely unaware of. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is my jobs in general, because this whole essential business shit is kind of bullshit. I work at Jamba Juice, and it's hard for me to see what is so essential about getting a smoothie. I also don't get how that's an essential business when bitches are like, oh, it's healthy, and then buying fucking white gummies, which, let me just expose Jamba Juice right now, has 5 scoops of sherbet. I worked a previous shift and it was ridiculous. It was busy as fuck, and I was like, this is hella stupid. There's hella people in here, and anybody right now could either be susceptible to getting it or could have it and be spreading it around, and it doesn't even have to be they order something. They could just fucking come in and touch stuff, Our lobby is closed, so at least we have that closed, but this is what had me pressed, okay? Our franchise sent out a little message and it was like, oh, if you guys want to spread this message around on social media, feel free to. I don't remember exactly the quote it said, but it was something basically encouraging. This is the problem. It encouraged people to come in, and the reason that it encouraged people to come in is so that they could continue paying its workers. Now, I know that having a job right now is a privilege. Shouldn't be, but it is, because a lot of people right now are getting laid off, and it's scary and it's sad, and I hope that everybody who's dealing with those situations are okay. Hopefully this new bill that was passed can benefit you in some way. File for unemployment, try your hardest, because it fucking sucks. Trust me, I get it. But to say that the reason you want people to come in is so that you can keep paying our workers is ridiculous, because don't sit here and tell me that you want to pay me so bad when my shifts are constantly getting cut as a result of having no business. If it's not busy, maybe that means it's not essential. Just an idea, okay? I guess going into work is a good way to kind of transition into the economics of this whole situation. I listen to a podcast on NPR News. They have a lot of podcasts about this kind of stuff if you want to learn more about it. I like the way that they do it just because it's kind of broken down into categories. I listened to the economics one and it fucking scared me. Honestly, it really did. Okay, a little economic lesson real quick. Okay, basically in economics, there's a graph, okay? Let me look it up to make sure I'm correctly describing this, because I don't want to spread false information. So the way the supply and demand graph works is it's 2 intersecting lines, demand and supply, right? Now, stay with me, this is important. One way the government can try to help the economy is by increasing government spending and giving more money to people through the Federal Reserve. So the way this works is that when the Federal Reserve puts more money into people's pockets and more people have money, they want to spend that money. And so when they spend that money, it increases demand, okay? What's happening right now, let's just talk about the bill. The bill has just been passed, correct? I'll talk about that specifics in later, but a bill has been passed really broadly. Basically, it's giving up to $1,200 to people who make lower than $75,000 annually. Now, that money being given to people, the expectation is that they'll spend it. However, because we're quarantined and because we are encouraged to stay home, we're not spending money as we used to. because we're not like going out to shop, we're not going out to restaurants and eating, we're staying home. We're like saving that money more than anything. So demand is actually decreasing. Coupled with that, supply is also decreasing because a lot of companies are going out of business. Basically, a shift back in bulk means that the recession is much harder to fix because not only does the government have to try to help demand increase, it also now has to focus on increasing supply. There's no clear-cut solution is what I'm trying to get at. It's hard to resolve this issue. I'm sure people have heard that there is a bill passing, and basically this financial package, it's giving a one-time check of $1,200 to anybody that makes under $75,000. Yes, we have more money, but because of the current situation, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be spending it, which means that its effects might not work exactly in the way they expect it to. So yeah, that bill, we'll see how it works. I guess they're gonna take the information from like your taxes, and you can expect the check to come in, I don't know when. I don't know, fucking look it up. Like, I only have a limited amount of time for this, okay? I think what I want to talk about next is what the government has been doing besides this bill to help us. So recently I watched Trump's address for this, and how he talked about, you know, like we're in really good standings and that the US is like the most progressive in this shit, and we got the, you know, he fucking said thanks to his team, you know, like 1,000 times. Let me tell you right now, folks, that's a fucking lie. The US actually is going to have more cases than any other country. I think it might already, but if not, it's gonna be soon. And you know why that is? Let me tell you why. Because in December, hold on, I'm about to blow your minds. In December, this shit was known about. That is why it's called COVID-19. 2019, bitch. This was known about for 3 to 4 months. I didn't just have to do the math. I felt like that made me look stupid. I didn't just have to do the math. I was just like, pausing for emphasis, I promise. What did we do about it? Nothing. Our government didn't do anything about it. It's actually quotes of, you know, Trump saying this is their new hoax. That's my favorite quote. That's my favorite quote. Because it just shows, not even gonna say anything. That's my favorite quote. Trump tried to say that like our biggest move was the Europe travel ban. That actually happened this month, March. 3 months after it was already known about. And meanwhile, while this was all happening, China and South Korea were already like taking measures starting by December. It was in South Korea. They gave tests to everybody. If everybody is aware of like whether or not they have it, they know whether or not to like really take this quarantine isolation seriously, because some people aren't really taking it seriously, and it's frustrating as hell seeing a bunch of people in like Huntington Beach out. Like, what the fuck? I'm sure before anybody told you to stay in, you were probably in your house all the fucking time, but the minute someone's like, no, actually, you should stay home, you're like, are you kidding me? You're going to, like, I'm going to sacrifice my freedom for this? I don't even have it. Just stay inside. But anyways, they gave everybody tests, which makes the most sense because everybody was already aware of whether or not they had it. And if they did, they stayed inside because obviously you're going to spread it to people. For us, however, our president is telling us that if we don't have symptoms, or even if we have mild symptoms, we should not take a test. And that's bullshit. Also, because there's a bunch of other people who are rich or like celebrities who are getting tested when they don't have symptoms. Where is the discrepancy? The second thing is that a lot of our like medical staff doesn't have the supplies it needs. In the state of Washington, they don't have any masks left for their medical staff. That's terrible. This whole thing, I'm sure you've heard of, like flattening the curve, basically is trying to reduce the amount of deaths in the situation by allowing less people to go outside and like slowing down the process. Well, what people aren't talking about is that through that line, right, the line that goes across is the capacity of the medical staff. There should also be the ability to move that line up. But because there is no extra funding, or the government is not trying to help all the medical facilities in the US, that line is going to stay the same. Like, we should be able to move that line up as well. You know what I mean? There's two components in that, and I don't think they're stressing both of them because they don't want to take responsibility for it. Just saying. So now what I want to talk about kind of is like myths kind of that are being spread about it, because like it's annoying hearing people downplay this whole situation, especially when one of the main people downplaying the situation is our president, because this isn't something to be taken lightly. A lot of people are comparing this to the flu and saying like, oh, it's not as bad as the flu. Like the flu has more deaths and a higher mortality rate than coronavirus. First of all, take account of the fact that the flu and coronavirus are extremely different. The flu can be helped with like many things. There are many possible solutions to the flu. The coronavirus, on the other hand, we don't know. We still don't know. We don't have all the data yet. It's only been like 5 months since this thing has actually been in humans. So obviously we don't have all the information. We don't have all the numbers. So like comparing it doesn't really make sense in this case scenario. Another one of the big differences is that like one's a bacteria and one's a virus. They are very different in the things that can be used to resolve them. So like I read an article that basically said that like vitamin C can help bacterias, but it does not work the same on a virus. So like things like that, antibiotics, I think they said garlic, things like that help flus, but they do not help the coronavirus. So don't spend all your money on those things. I think I want to move on now to the Instagram questions that I got, because I got a few. I tried to put it on my story, just like ask me a few questions that you've been thinking about. So one of the questions, and a lot of people have been saying this too, whether or not I think that the coronavirus is a distraction. No, I do not think it's a distraction. If anything, I think it should emphasize the fact that we need to start paying attention to what everybody is saying and how people are reacting to it, because that can tell us a lot. For example, the way our president is currently dealing with it is not an ideal way to deal with a national emergency. So no, I don't think it's a distraction. I think it should force you to pay more attention. So keep yourself informed. What effects is this having on campaigning with current candidates is question 2. Obviously, this is stopping the ability of the candidates to campaign at all, because you can't have rallies, you can't travel. I think that's why a lot of them are doing like online virtual rallies and like stuff like that. Everything's gonna kind of turn to like virtual stuff and online and live streaming and shit like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're able to switch their campaigns to being online. But I think that's gonna kind of show like how creative they are, you know, like we'll see how they are able to still kind of campaign through all this mess. Another question is, should I buy in bulk? No, y'all are really stupid buying hella toilet paper out here. For what? For literally why? I don't fucking get it. Buying in bulk doesn't make sense either. Like, have enough maybe for like a week. You can go out to go grocery shopping. If somebody comes in and it's like they're only $5 in the whole world that they've ever gotten, and all they want is like some fucking toilet paper, and you took it all because you need to wipe your ass hella times out the day, maybe learn how to wipe your ass better and then fucking return some of the toilet paper, because why are you being a dickhead about this? Buying in bulk creates chaos, okay? So don't do it. Get how much you need, okay? Maybe get one more additional, but not 7, okay? That's ridiculous. This question is really important. It says, where can I buy more quarantine weed? Hit up your plugs, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're doing like a delivery service or like maybe a takeout service. Figure it out. Find somebody to get it for you or something. And this is the dumbest question I've ever gotten. It's from my boyfriend. It says, I love you. Next. I'm just kidding. But like, really? Let me tell you. I wanted to talk about how also this is like showing me how fucking stupid celebrities are. Bitch, you really thought that like singing Imagine was going to change anything? And then like we have Vanessa Hudgens over here, her bitch ass being hella mad about not being able to appropriate cultures at Coachella. She was fucking like, people are gonna die and that's terrible, but inevitable? Like, really? You're complaining about Coachella? It didn't even get canceled. It got moved. Like, shut the fuck up. Ugh. It's gonna be tough to get out of this. It doesn't give me that much hope considering who is going to help us get out of this. Help us. But it's okay. That's why there is an election this year, right? Right. That's why there is an election this year. That's why there's an election this, say it with me.
Shut up!
Year. I'll talk about some things that I've been doing during this quarantine. I cleaned my room really well. Maybe take the time out to do that. I'm trying to like watch things and cook and stay positive during this whole thing because it's scary, but maybe it's like an opportunity for us to get involved in more things and try new things out and like reach out to people you haven't talked to in a while. That being said, everybody stay home and stay healthy and stay safe and wash your hands as much as possible. Feel free to ask me more questions and stuff. I'm open to like answering more stuff and having more video ideas and stuff like that sent to me because yeah, I have a lot more time on my hands. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll make them quickly, but I will consider them. Thanks for watching if you did. I'm not gonna be like, comment, like, and subscribe because I don't give a fuck what you do. You know what you need to do, bitch? You need to wash your fucking hands. I have to get ready for work now. See ya.